Welcome back to Speaking and Presenting in English. This is week 4. We're going to be talking about Unit 4 in your textbook. And to help us with that, I am doing a little PPT presentation here using Zoom to narrate and talk about it. And you can see here, Unit 4 is about dating. Not just about dating, but about making plans and going out and doing things together. It might be with a girlfriend or boyfriend, or it could be with a friend or even a family member. So going out and doing things. And we use dating as our main example. Again, the pages from the textbook are in Canvas in the Files section. If you go to the Files folder, Unit 4, you will find them there. But I have scanned pictures so we can talk about some of the most important pages here in this PPT. So on this slide, we have our key vocabulary for Unit 4. There are many words here. You do not need to know all of them, but I will go through here and point out some of the most useful ones for this unit. So let's go with, of course, boyfriend and girlfriend. Those will be important. I don't think anyone in our class is married yet. So boyfriend and girlfriend. And dinner. A lot of times when people go on a date, they have dinner. So you can say have dinner or go to dinner. And a date, to go on a date. Online dating, that's becoming more popular these days. If you go back to the first column there, let's see, engagement. Engaged would be useful. If you are not married yet, but you are planning to be married and you are planning your wedding, you are engaged. If you are engaged, you don't have a husband or wife yet, we call the person you are going to marry your fiancé. Fiancé. So those are the important relationship words for this unit. Next, we have some common places that people might go on a date. Cinema is just the movie theater. Maybe a stadium if you want to watch a soccer game. You could go see a concert or an opera. You could go to a museum or art gallery, cafe or restaurant. Lots of options here to talk about. And some people like to do activities when they go on a date. So they might go to see a movie or watch a film. They might go on a boat trip or take a boat trip. They might go bungee jumping. They might go see a concert or a play, or they might go to the ballet or the opera. Maybe they'll do some artwork and try painting or drawing, pottery. These are all just some examples of things people might do on a date. All right, so you can use that vocabulary to help you when you do your presentation for this unit. The next slide here, we have our dialogue from the book. And this is conversation practice 1. We have 2 friends talking, David and Bumho. So we'll read through this. I'll explain a couple of things, and then we'll do the answers, the questions and answers together. So David says, "What are you doing tonight? What are you doing tonight?" Bumho says, "I have plans. I'm going to dinner." David is curious, so he asks, like dinner with friends, like a group of friends, or a friend? Bumho says, just one friend. Now David is suspicious. Sounds like a female. So David is thinking, sounds like a date. Bumho says, yes, it's the new girl in our biology class from China. So David and Bumho are in, he says, our biology class. So they are in biology class together. And this girl from China is also a student in their class. David says, good for you, the one you were looking at as soon as she walked into class. So he knows Bumho was interested in her because when she first walked in, he was staring at her. Bumho says, yes, she's the one. Her name is Maggie. David says, wow, you move fast. I was thinking about her too. This means that Bumho didn't wait very long. He saw her, he liked her, and he asked her on a date quickly. David also says, I was thinking about her too. So this means David was also interested in Maggie, but Bumho was faster. Bumho says, you were? He didn't know that. He didn't know David was interested. He says, I thought you're going out with the girl in the Tuesday morning class. So I guess David had a date with another girl in a different class. David says, I did, but she just wants to be friends. She just wants to be friends. She isn't interested in dating David. She does not want to date David. Why not? She has a boyfriend back home. And Bumho says, sorry to hear. I hate when that happens. So I hate when that happens. This is Bumho's way of saying, oh, I understand. That has happened to me too, and it's terrible. All right, so over here in conversation A, we have 4 questions. Let's read them together and see if we can find the answers. These questions are based on the conversation. So all of the answers should be directly in the dialogue. So number 1, where is Bumho's date from? Well, we said the girl in our biology class from China. So his date is from China. She is from China. Number 2, what class are they in together? So David and Bumho and this girl from China, Maggie, they are all in the same class. And we said that is biology class. They have biology class together. This is a science class. Number 3, what happened to the girl that David went out with? You'll remember that Bumho said, I thought you're going out with the girl in the Tuesday morning class. And David said, I did, but she just wants to be friends. She has a boyfriend back home. So what happened to her? She has a boyfriend. David can't date her because she has a boyfriend. They will just be friends. And number 4, who else is interested in Maggie? We said, I was thinking about her too. David had said, wow, you move fast. I was thinking about her too. So David, that he showed us that he also is interested in Maggie. Okay, moving along, we also have, these questions are discussion questions for you to answer. So the answers for these questions are not in the dialogue here. They're not there. These are related to this dialogue, but they are questions for you to answer for yourself. So I will give you here some sample answers. This is based on my country, which is the US. And so question number 1 says, at what age do most people in your country start dating? Or when do most people most young people in your country start dating? And I said, in the US, many kids start dating in high school. It's pretty common for people to date in high school. And of course, later too, in college, university, or after college. But in general, many people start dating in high school. Number two, do you usually go out with a group or just as a couple? So this means just you and your date, or in a bigger group with several couples. And I think it's common to do both. Sometimes you just want to be alone with your date. Other times it's fun to have a group of friends, a group of people together for some activities. Number three, what do people in your country, at what age do people in your country get engaged? So this is basically, when do people get married in your country? And I looked this up on the internet. It said in the US, these days, most people get married between the ages of 25 and 30, which I think is a little bit younger than in Korea. In Korea, it's probably maybe late 20s for women and early 30s for men. All right, number four, is there a minimum age that people can marry? And the US has 50 states, and each state has different laws, different rules. So in general, it's 18 when you become an adult, but in some states, you can marry when you are much younger, even 14 or 15 or 16. But to do that, you need your parents' permission. And the last one, what do people do on a typical date in your country? Give some examples. Well, I think the most common one in the US is dinner and a movie. But there are other fun things you can do, like going to a concert together or a museum or things like that. We had a whole list in the vocabulary section, if you'll remember. You'll notice here in my answers that I underlined some words, and that is so you can use my answers and change out those words to help you make your own answers. So for example, if I were a Korean student doing number one, I might say, in Korea, many people start dating in university or after university or when they start working. Those are just a few examples. For number three, you could change the ages there. And number five, you could change the typical date activities. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. And this is the presentation portion of this unit. And we're focusing on chronological presentations here. That sounds fancy, but don't be scared. It just means you'll use words like first, second, next, then, and last to describe time. And you're going to talk about your dream date. Now, if you are not comfortable talking about dating, that's okay. You can change it a little bit. Maybe you can talk about the perfect day. To you, what is your idea of a perfect day? And who do you spend time with? Maybe you're with your family, or maybe you're with a best friend or a group of friends. And what do you do? List the things that you do on that day. So again, you'll have to use first, second, next, then, etc. And on the left here, you'll see there is a little activity, a chart to help you organize your ideas. So you're going to have three activities, three things that you do. The first round, 1차, second round, 2차, and third round, 3차. And if you look on the right, you'll see that I filled out some sample answers. So the first round of this dream date is dinner. And I added some details at a nice Italian restaurant. where we can have steak and pasta and get to know each other. This just means to talk, to learn more about your date, learn more about the other person, ask questions and get some answers. The second round here, I've chosen a movie, a romantic comedy or a horror movie, maybe. And we'll have popcorn and some Coca-Cola and enjoy being together without having to talk. Sometimes it's a little stressful to talk and think of things to say on a date. So a movie might be a good idea because we can be together, but we don't have to worry about talking and what to say. And then on this date, for the third round, I chose coffee and cake. Maybe we'll go to tous les jours or someplace like that. There's another coffee shop I'm thinking of. I can't think of the name of it right now. To someplace. Yeah, maybe a to someplace. That might be a good coffee date place. And we'll have coffee and maybe some cake for dessert, talk about the movie and wrap up the date. That just means finish or end the date. All right, so I will go ahead and read my presentation script here. This is a little bit long. Yours does not need to be this long. So don't be scared when you see it. And it's a little complicated too. Yours does not have to be this long or this complicated. Just do your best with it. Make sure you include 3 things or activities. And you should include an introduction and a conclusion and those words that help us, that show us where you are in time, describing time, first, second, next, etc. Okay, so here we go. Hello everyone. Today I'd like to tell you about my dream date. My dream date consists of 3 rounds. First, my date and I will go out to dinner. I think that a romantic Italian restaurant with a good atmosphere would be a good place. We'll have steak and pasta. Girls love pasta and so do I. Next, we'll go to see a movie. I think that a romantic comedy would be a good choice. However, a horror film can also be a good choice because if my date feels scared, she might stay close to me. While watching the movie, we'll eat popcorn and drink soda. A movie is good because it gives us a chance to be together without being forced to talk a lot. Lastly, we'll go to a coffee shop and have some cake and coffee for dessert. This will give us a chance to talk about the movie and end the date on a good note. Here's my conclusion here. This is my idea of the perfect first date. I hope my date enjoys it as much as I will. Thank you. So again, this was very detailed. You do not need to be so detailed. I think maybe half of this would be okay for your presentation. You should definitely include an introduction, a first round with 1 or 2 details, a second round with 1 or 2 details, a third round with 1 or 2 details, and a conclusion. And make sure you use those chronological words to help you. First, those transition words, next, then, etc. All right, let's go to next steps. So again, leave a short comment below this video. That's your attendance. Read Unit 4 in your textbook. Again, that's in Canvas, Files, Unit 4. Write a short presentation about your dream date or the perfect day. Remember, it doesn't have to be a date. And you can use your textbook pages 37 and 38. And of course, my example in slide 4 to help you. Record your presentation. You can do audio or video, your choice. And send it to me on Kakao Talk. All right, that sums up Unit 4. As always, please let me know if you have any questions. and you can send me a message on Kakao if you have any questions. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.